Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. The title of our research is about survey on police stress and conflict during the COVID-19 pandemic. Working in law enforcement is often portrayed as a stressful job that leads to conflict. Working as a cop entails much stress and a lot of unpleasant situations. This can harm police officer mental and physical health, interpersonal relationship, and work-life balance. Furthermore, police officer burnout was positively linked to professional stress. According to research, police work is a stressful job and this stress can harm officer mental and physical health, performance, and interaction with citizens. Mental health in the workplace has become a concern due to the high incidence of depression, anxiety, burnout, and even suicide among police personnel. As a result, it is necessary to regularly track stress and burnout level to promote occupational health. Malaysia has issued a movement control order (MCO) to halt COVID-19 from spreading around the world. The Malaysian Armed Force and the Royal Malaysia Police (PDRM) and other authorities regulate citizen movement. Their primary objective has been to protect individual health and well-being by regulating MCO enforcement since March 2020. Because of the pandemic, requires police officers to approach individuals at close range, even while wearing face masks. Social distance cannot be imposed to maintain peace and order in the country. The spread of COVID-19 illness is growing increasingly severe, and many police officers have been exposed to the disease. COVID-19 infection has impacted the ability of police officers to execute their duties because they are on the front line and closest to the people. Due to their sacrifice during the MCO, these officers may face various stress and conflict in carry out their official duty, which will be the topic of this research. COVID-19 is an infection disease caused by a novel coronavirus that was found in Wuhan, China in December 2019. Police personnel face new and increased pressure as a result of COVID-19. They had to implement additional methods to enforce social separation, even though stay-at-home order were being challenged on political, economic, and legal grounds. As agent of a new and unpopular limitation, officers may have sensed increased anxiety and displeasure from the citizens that they serve. They have to change their operation to accommodate the viral reality, community and the community and the offender program service called Response and Patrol procedure have to be altered to limit exposure and ensure enough cops stay healthy to protect public safety. If the police officer avoided serving the public, or made a minor arrest to limit their exposure, these changes, which generally focus on limiting human contact, could have caused cognitive dissonance. The COVID-19 pandemic was a dreadful occurrence in and of itself, providing a constant risk of bodily harm and driving cops to become more hyper-vigilant of their surroundings. Daily stress, safety restriction, and practice of social isolation may have limited their ability to deploy good coping techniques virally. Long and frequent rotating shift, threat of violence and increased requirement for hypervigilance and lack of public support combined to make policing one of the most mentally drained jobs, resulting in the chronic stress. Police officers work in a high-stress, high-conflict environment. As a result, law enforcement professionals suffer from mental health disorder and at the higher incident than the average population, even before dealing with added pandemic issues, stress, and uncertainty. In order to make the proposed 2030 SDG a reality, the public sector must play an important role. Government worldwide cannot function well without the enabling structure of public administration to deliver on their mandate, which are mostly set out in political manifesto, while also ensuring that the core mandate of meeting citizen basic welfare needs is met through an efficient system. The functioning of such system must enable entity or agent to behave in the best interest of delivering high quality service, which would have already been determined by legal regulation. This also could make it easier for an agent to operate in the presence of information symmetry. Leadership in the public service should guarantee that mandatory services are made accessible to the community to support the efficient functioning of the public service, particularly in the area of economic and social well-being. As a result, the public sector must spend solid security such as policing, with the ultimate goal to reduce crime. The goal 19 of the SDG stated that all people should have access to justice and the court and the justice system should be integral part of national accountability system. The police, prosecutor, court, jail system and ministry that deal with justice and policing are all institutional targets. As a result, police officers perform a critical role in ensuring citizens live safely by safeguarding their life. Throughout the Goal 16 aim, there is a commitment to live in safety and prosperity. During COVID-19, the safety of the emergency service providers such as medical professionals and police officers is generally prioritized. However, in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic, police officers face a variety of new obstacles which may put them under further strain. Definition of stress. Occupational stress is type of psychological stress that caused by one word. Occupational stress is a long-term condition. Thus, there is a need to understand the stressful condition at work and taking action to alleviate such factors that can help to manage occupational health. Definition of conflict. Conflict is rarely perceived as constructive, but moderate amount of conflict can be seen as mutually beneficial in specific situations, such as fostering understanding, tolerance, learning, and also effectiveness. Okay. Afzalo mentioned several conflict behaviors, beginning with disagreement and progressing to verbal abuse and also interfere if conflict exists. The researchers have employed a cross-sectional study rather than longitudinal experimental or quasi-experimental study as a research design. Hence, the variables in this cross-sectional analysis are observed without attempting to change them. Moreover, cross-sectional research allows for collecting data from a large number of people and the examination of difference between them. The sample. Respondents in the study were police officers from Petaling Jaya Police Department headquarters. The researcher used convenient sampling to distribute the online questionnaire to the respondent. The population of the Petaling Jaya Police Department is around 1,000 or 1,000 people. However, only 53 53 of the respondents are willing to answer the online questionnaire. Okay. The data collected by using online questionnaire, the questionnaire consists of 3 sections: the demographic profile, potential source of stress, and causes of stress. Method of data collection, online questionnaire is used in this research because of their low cost and flexibility. An online questionnaire is highly suggested approach when used in the conjunction of COVID-19 pandemic. The questionnaire was circulated through online platforms such as WhatsApp and also Facebook. The questionnaire is multilingual with portion written in both English and Malay. The goal is to make the questionnaire more user-friendly while also ensuring that respondents who do not understand English can complete it. So the researcher then use SPSS to analyze the data. Okay, so this is the finding of the study. Okay. Okay, so they are the total of the respondent is 53. 44 is a male police officer and 9% that is 70 respondent are from female police officer. Okay, and then the rank of the police officer can be categorized into assistant superintendent of police, a constable, lance corporal, sergeant, and also sergeant major. Okay, and then most of the respondent that answer this is corporal. And then period of service. Okay, the period of service are ranging from 1 to 30 years. Okay, and then most of the respondent have 1 to 5 years experience, that constitute of 30%, followed by 6 to 11 years, that is 28%, and then 12 to 17%, that is 19%, and the least is more than 30%, that is 2%, that constitute to 1%. Okay, stress. Okay, so for the question, are the tasks assigned to the police officer since the COVID-19 pandemic has put pressure on them than before? 70% of them agree, okay, compared to 30%. Okay, and then in terms of workload, whether the police officer feel more depressed since the COVID-19 pandemic, along with the workload given to them. Okay, 59% of them didn't feel depressed compared to 41% of them feel depressed. Okay, so almost half of the percentage is feeling depressed. Okay, if we look at the other side. Okay, and then in terms of status and also salary, since the COVID-19 pandemic, 57% of the officer stated that financial problems have not been a stressor for them, compared to 43%. Okay, most of the nearly half of the respondents feel that the salary is still become a factor for them to become stressed. Okay, next is bullying in the workplace. According to 58% of the police officers, they are not feel more stressed with their supervisor or superior or colleague since COVID-19 pandemic, along with the workload given to them. Okay. However, compared to 42% of them feel that they are feel stressed because of the workload, and also lack of support from their colleague and so on. Okay. Potential impact of stress. According to 70% of the police officers, stress faced in the workplace during the COVID-19 pandemic can cause disciplinary problem if it not being tackled by the people that in charge. Okay, so this is also a concern. Okay, stress management in the workplace. Okay, identifying source of stress at work. Okay, so 91% of the police officers agreed that by identifying a source of stress at work, they could control it better compared of the 9% of the uh, officer that totally disagree. Okay, because stress also something that based on a certain occurrence, something that we cannot control, something is beyond our limitation. So maybe 9% of them are not agreed with this. Okay, getting help from co-worker, supervisor or friend to manage stress. So 76% of the police officer agreed that their co-worker and supervisor and friend could help to manage their stress. Okay, stress management training and emotional support. So 68% of the police officers agreed that stress management training and emotional support from the department or unit could reduce their stress compared to the 32 others, to the 32% of others police officer that not agree. Okay, there should be training and also place or maybe even consultant to assist the police officer that I think there is exist such as counselor, to assist the police officer. However, uh, there is also a cases where the police officer doesn't report in terms of their stress, okay, because of the personal issue and so on. That is also can be a burden for the police officer. And then we move to conflict. Okay, causes of conflict. First is ineffective communication. So for the question, did poor communication problem during COVID-19 between co-worker and supervisor can cause conflict in the workplace? 66% of the policy, that is 66% of the police officer agreed with this statement. Okay, personality different. Okay, for the question, do different value or belief between co-worker cause conflict in the workplace? Okay, for example, we have Gen X, Gen Y, Gen XY. Okay, as and like the question before, for example, how many years of experience that the police officer have, that is also we can see the different in terms of the generation, okay, based on the working experience. Okay, so 64% of them agreed. Okay, the personality also can cause conflict among them. Okay, compared to 36 other percent that does not agree. And then next is constraint in term of resource. Okay, 77% of the police officer agreed that conflict increase if there are constraint in resources in the workplace. For example, sharing resources or tasks with friends, lacking tools, work equipment, and other resources. Okay. Next is unclear instruction and work rules. Okay, so 66% of the police officer agreed that supervisor or superior unclear instruction also can cause what we call uncertainty and also conflict. Okay, okay, conflict management in the workplace, finding a solution. Okay, there is actually four technique to solve conflict. Okay, first is finding a solution. So 93 of the officer agreed that finding a solution is it is a best conflict management technique. Okay, second is bias decision. So 80% of them are not agree with handling conflict based on their favor, mean based on their biased decision, okay, which is a good outcome, okay, because biased decision can distort the decision, okay, and then 94% of the police officers agree that they prefer to avoid quarrel or avoid differences, okay. And next is 76% of the police officer agreed with when making decision, they would consider the opinion from the colleague and or supervisor or superior and so on, okay. And another one is sorry, it's not 4 but 5, sorry. 5 the 5 last technique is 50-50 solution. So 87% of the police officer agree that the conflict in the workplace could be resolved through tolerance and consultation with various parties, okay. Okay, so among all these five technique, the most higher percentage is to avoid quarrel and avoid differences, okay. So this is not 4 but 5, sorry. Okay, impact of conflict, okay. And similar with the impact of stress, the impact of conflict also can cause disciplinary problem among police officer in Petaling Jaya, okay. So the impact of stress and also conflict is it can cause disciplinary problem, okay. In conclusion, the tasks assigned to the police officers since the COVID-19 pandemic have put more pressure on them than before. Near half of the respondents agreed that the police officer feel more depressed since COVID-19 pandemic and their workload. Almost half of the respondents agree that since the COVID-19 pandemic, financial problems have been the stressor. Some of the police officers also felt more stressed with their supervisor or superior or colleague. Almost all the police officers agreed that by identifying the source of stress at work, they could control it better. Moreover, more than half of the police officers agreed that their co-worker, supervisor, or friend could help in managing their stress. Besides, police officers agreed that stress management training and emotional support from the department or unit could reduce their stress. Furthermore, most police officers agreed that poor communication problem and different value or belief during COVID-19 between co-worker and supervisor could cause conflict in the workplace. Constraint in resources used in the workplace and unclear instruction also can be caused by conflict is agreed by the majority of the police officer. Among 5 conflict management in the workplace, the best strategy is to avoid quarrel or differences of opinion with colleague and their supervisor. Okay. Similar to the impact of stress, the impact of conflict can also cause disciplinary problem among police officers in Petaling Jaya district headquarters. The limitation of this study is that many police officers have not answered the online questionnaire. The gap between males and females who answered the online questionnaire is also relatively high. As for future study, there is a need for qualitative study to understand more about the potential source of stress and cause of conflict. There is also need to explore a possible solution to issue and stress and conflict among police officers. These studies are essential to ensure that our country can achieve SDG as highlighted by the United Nations. Thank you.